Most homemade focaccia never gets bubbles like this, right? Big bubbles, an incredibly soft crumb, and a crispy, buttery crust. Today, I'll show you exactly how to make this no-knead butter focaccia at home with a simple step-by-step method. Let's get started. You know, this focaccia is a no-knead recipe, which means it's incredibly easy, but the results are seriously impressive. For this recipe, I'm using 600 grams of bread flour, which is about 21.15 ounces. For salt, I'm using salt flakes, around 7 grams. Salt does much more than add flavor. It controls fermentation, strengthens the dough, and brings everything into balance. Now let's move on to the water. I'm using regular tap water today. It's summer, my kitchen is quite humid, and I'm using instant dry yeast, so this works perfectly. If you're using active dry yeast, you'll need lukewarm water to activate it. Yeast likes warmth, not cold, not hot. Too cold and it won't wake up. Too hot and you can kill it. Once the yeast is in the water, add some extra virgin olive oil. And honestly, if there's no olive oil, it's not focaccia. Give it a good mix until everything is nicely combined. Now grab a large mixing bowl, add the flour, and pour in the yeast mixture. Start mixing. Mix until there are no dry spots left. This is a high hydration dough, and that extra water is the secret behind great focaccia. It gives you that soft, springy texture, those beautiful, airy bubbles, and a crumb that feels almost cloud-like. At this stage, the dough will look messy, very soft and sticky. That's exactly what we want, so don't worry. If the dough feels sticky, you're doing it right. Different flours absorb water differently. Higher protein flour can take in more water, so always adjust slightly if needed. This dough is about 85% hydration, and that's perfect for big bubble focaccia. Once everything is mixed, scrape down the bowl, cover it, and let it rest for 1 hour. This rest is doing a lot of work behind the scenes. The flour absorbs the water, the gluten starts forming, and all of this happens without kneading. After 1 hour, take a look at the dough. You'll notice it already looks smoother and much more relaxed. Now, lightly wet your hands with water. It helps prevent sticking. Let's start the first round of stretch and folds. Grab one side of the dough, lift it gently, stretch it just until you feel resistance, and fold it over to the opposite side. Turn the bowl and repeat the same motion. Do this a few times until you've worked all the way around the bowl. Be gentle here. We're building strength, not forcing it. This simple technique strengthens the gluten without kneading, and over time it's what creates that light, airy structure inside the focaccia. Once you're done, cover the bowl again. Let the dough rest for 30 minutes. When you come back, it's time for the second round of stretch and folds. You'll already notice a change. The dough feels more smooth and easier to handle. Repeat the same gentle motions. Each fold is doing something important. It's trapping air, building structure, and moving us closer to that soft, springy focaccia with big, irregular bubbles. Cover the dough again and let it rest for another 30 minutes. Now let's check the dough. See how it looks? Smoother, puffier, more alive. It's time for the third round of stretch and folds. As you lift the dough this time, you'll notice it stretches easily, almost silky. That's a very good sign. It means the dough is developing strength without being overworked. Once the third round is done, we'll finish with a few coil folds. Lift the dough gently from the center and let it fold under itself. Coil folds are great for high hydration dough. They keep the air trapped inside, which helps create those large open bubbles focaccia is known for. Once the coil folds are done, cover the dough and place it in the fridge overnight. This cold fermentation is optional but highly recommended. Resting the dough overnight improves gluten strength and, even more importantly, flavor. If you're short on time, you can skip the fridge completely. Just let the dough rest at room temperature for another 30 to 40 minutes and continue. But if you want better flavor and even bigger, airier bubbles, an overnight rest in the fridge makes a big difference. Look at these bubbles. I've just taken the dough out of the fridge. It's cold right now. Let it sit at room temperature for about 30 minutes. As the dough warms up, it relaxes, softens, and you'll notice even more bubbles forming. Now it's time to prepare the tray. If your tray isn't non-stick, make sure to line it with parchment paper. Otherwise, the focaccia will stick, and we don't want that. Today, I'm making butter focaccia, so I'm adding melted butter to the tray. Spread it everywhere, corners, sides, bottom. This adds flavor and helps prevent sticking. Now carefully transfer the dough into the tray. Just ease it in gently. With light hands, start spreading the dough. Don't force it. Cut some butter into small cubes and place them over the dough. At this stage, you can add extras if you like, garlic, herbs, or a little grated cheese. Now fold the dough from both sides. Then gently flip it over. Again, ease it in slowly and spread it lightly with your hands. This dough now needs a final rise. Cover the tray and let it rest for 45 minutes to 1 hour, depending on how warm your kitchen is. Don't overproof. If the dough rises too much, it can collapse later. While the dough is proofing, preheat your oven to 230 degrees Celsius, which is about 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm using a convection oven, also called a fan-forced oven, where hot air circulates evenly. Once the dough is nicely proofed, add some melted butter over the top. This adds extra flavor and gives the focaccia that beautiful color. Rub a little butter on your hands as well. Using your fingers, press straight down into the dough all across the surface to create dimple. Push firmly until your fingers touch the bottom of the tray. If you like, add your toppings now. Bake for 20 to 22 minutes. Before baking, let's create steam. Make sure add a little water into the oven to create steam. That steam helps the focaccia rise better and keeps the inside light and airy. As soon as it's done, carefully lift the focaccia out of the tray. Brush it with a little more melted butter. Let it cool just slightly before slicing. Inside it's soft, airy, and absolutely delicious. Focaccia is best enjoyed warm, golden on the outside, and light and fluffy inside. Honestly, this might be one of the most satisfying breads you'll ever make at home. When you make focaccia at home, always remember these 4 things. First one, use bread flour if possible. Second one, focaccia loves high hydration. Don't be scared of wet dough. Third one, An overnight rest in the fridge improves both flavor and texture. And fourth one, always bake in a very hot oven with steam at the start. So, how was the recipe? I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who loves soft, airy focaccia. And don't forget to subscribe for more delicious bread recipes. Until next time, enjoy this beautiful butter focaccia